In this video, we'll go through a step-by-step run on how to service the DRZ400E model, including oil, air and greasing. Straight from the DRZ400E owner's manual, have a look at the maintenance schedule. Engine oil and filter recommend to replace every 60 hours. As a personal choice, I do it every 30 hours or roughly 1500 Ks that equates to, so that's when I change it. Oil and filters are cheap, rebuilds aren't, so I do it every 30 odd hours and it is now due. Just make sure you've got suitable oil and oil filter ready to go. From the manual, engine oil is recommended to be 10W40, or as per the heat chart, our riding conditions 10W40 is fine up to 40 degrees plus, so that's what we'll run with. Yeah, you can leave the bash plate there as there is a hole to get to the sump plug. However, for servicing I take it off. Less oil running into it and gives you a chance to clean that out at the same time. With the bash plate out of the way, the rear left of the engine, you'll see that there is a 14mm head sump plug. We'll just drop that out now. You have a suitable container underneath, ready to catch your oil. It's a quick tip when you're getting close to dropping it, just keep a bit of pressure up on the sump bolt and then pull it away quickly. That way you can get it out with barely having a drop of oil on your fingers. Quick look, this is a magnetic plug. You can't see any signs of metal fragments, which is good. If you see a small white metal paste, that's fine, especially during running in. Like you can see there, but nothing out of the ordinary. Well, that's finishing draining. The DRZ has 2 spots to drain oil out of, well 3 actually. So the first main one is from underneath the sump, which we've done, and the second one is out of the frame. So the drain plug from there is just there, so after that we'll do that one quickly. So the frame bolt is 13mm. Once again, make sure you got a container underneath ready to go. Be very careful, this oil is hot too at the moment, but it's cooled off a bit, it's not too bad. Now the next step I only do every couple of services, but there's a screen up in here, and to get to it you take this hose assembly off and this nut and the screen will drop out. So the bottom bolt is what's known as a banjo bolt, and there's 2 sealing washers either side. Just got to make sure that they go either side of the banjo flare nut as you put it back on, or it'll leak oil everywhere. And you can't be too over keen when tightening these neither, as they will break easily. Using a 24mm nut spanner, undo the nut that's just above the hose clamp. There you have it. It'll come out looking something like this. And the screen, as you can see, there's a little bit of gunk on there, not a lot. We'll just clean that up, bit of brake clean, and reassemble it all the same way it come apart, making sure that you got seals either side of this banjo bolt. So that is what they call the hidden screen. Do it every 3 or 4 services, I'd say. All it is cleaning the frame oil before it drops into the engine sump. Once it's installed, you can go ahead and re-tighten the sump plug bolts on the frame and the sump, and then we'll look at changing the oil filter. Rightio, so ready to change the oil filter, which is housed in behind here. But first, just to make things a bit cleaner and tidier, follow the oil filter housing down, and there's a 14mm bolt here, 14mm head bolt. You just undo that, and what that does, it drains the oil filter cavity, so it'll make it a lot less mess when you undo it. A bit more oil draining out there. As with the cover removed, the three 10mm size nuts removed, that shows your oil filter. There is the cover. Check the springs there, and also that the O-ring is in good condition. Any nicks or tears, you can replace the O-ring. Now, just wiggle the oil filter out. The oil filter comes out. There it is. And you can see in there's a little bit of oil there to dry out with the rag. And also there's an O-ring at the back. We'll see if we can knock that out. This O-ring's a critical piece. It sits on a spigot that the oil filter sits on, and that keeps your oil from pressurising and going back through being unfiltered. So basically that is the link for the oil to run through the filter. So it's very important. So check that, and always make sure that is back on the spigot when you are replacing the filter. You can see the drain hole there back through to where we drained. That's the oil cavity there that we drained. So it's just nice, makes it nice and more cleaner for when you change the filter. Right, ready to go, all cleaned out. New oil filter in, and it should sit up on the spigot and just sit there nicely. Some people say not to worry about changing the oil filter every time, but I definitely recommend. So only get a new filter for about $10, just do it every service. Now with all the sump plugs back in, we can and the oil filter done, we can fill it up. You can see there it's noted as 1700ml. From the manual, when you change your filter, you fill it up 1800ml. This is the fill point here. It is vital that you have a clean funnel. Don't want to be introducing any dirt to the system. This point here is the main point where you will introduce dirt. So a basic foolproof way, if you don't want to measure, fill it up until the oil gets up on the dipstick, as you'll see, and then run the bike. That will circulate through the system, and recheck it again. Guarantee there won't be any oil on the dipstick. That's fine, there's oil in the sump, it's just the reservoir frame. So then fill it up from the top to the top of the mark on the dipstick, and you're good to go. Don't have to run it for long at all, just enough for oil pressure to circulate around the system. As you can see, pull the dipstick again, and there is nothing on it. So now fill it back up until it is at the top mark of the dipstick, and then that is your service done for the engine oil change and filter change. Now finishing off is to grease the suspension linkages. Grease gun there, there's 5 points. One over the back, you can just see through the white spring. 3, 4 on your linkage at the bottom, and a further one up. Just a few pumps in there, purge your grease through, and you're good to go. Important part with that is to have the bike being done on a regular basis since new. Otherwise the grease will dry up in there and you won't be able to pump it through. So yeah, I do this on a regular basis, more often than servicing. Especially after riding through water or wet ride or beach ride, always pump a few shots of grease through the linkage points. With the greasing done, there's not much more to it. Load the chain, give it a good check over, all your electrics, all your lights working, horn, those kind of thing, any accessories, and you're pretty well done. Air cleaner definitely needs doing, so I'm going to jump on and do that now. I'll knock up another video later on about more in depth on cleaning the air filter, but there's plenty of different ways people do it using different products. So not a fun job, but that's next on the list for a full service. I'll leave the bash plate off. The last job is the good degrease and pressure clean. So at the end, you can chuck the bash plate on. And one step many people forget, and always a good habit to do, is record your service. As you see, that's a full list of maintenance I've done on my bike, so I'll add it in today, what we've done, when we've done it. So good for a bit of resale value, and also later on down the track for reference. So as you've seen, carrying out a service on the DRZ400s quite easy with a few tools and a bit of know-how. Any questions, just fire away below. We'll get back to you on those. If you're not sure and you're really getting stuck, get someone that is qualified to do it. But yeah, following those steps, most people should be able to undertake the service themselves. The key is do it regularly, and the DRZ will continue to last for you. So keep in mind the 1500 Ks or 30 hours, new oil, new filters, grease up, and away you go. More river.